it completely started to make my thyroid shut down through a plant-based diet, that there is the possibility that you can heal your thyroid. Toxins out, then my thyroid was able to heal itself. And then I was able to get off the medications. And I was able to heal my thyroid, be launching a fertility summit probably in June.
Health is wealth. Without health, we cannot imagine our life. Ladies and gentlemen, namaskar and welcome. It's me, Mahalaxmi. You are watching the Mahalaxmi Show. I think you have already some ideas. What topic do I have today? Yes, I will talk about health-related problem, thyroid. And today we have very beautiful and multi-talented Miss Jeanne Schumacher. Let's welcome to her. Miss Jeanne, welcome to the Mahalaxmi Show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. What an honor to be here.
Glad to have you in our show. So, Miss Jeanne, how is everything going on?
It's amazing. My life has completely turned around because I had a scare about 10 years ago. I mean, let me back up a little bit because my background is in education. My doctorate is in science for chemistry, environmental science, and biology. I've been teaching for over 35 years to high school students and I've seen changes in our children. And I saw these changes progressively get worse and worse and worse with our students, from having learning disabilities, issues, ADHD, ADD, to things like autism, to behavioral changes like Tourette's, to health issues. On a given day, at least a third of my students would be out for chronic illnesses or health problems that they were dealing with. And, so for me, my journey started with a trip to the emergency room. And I had 105-degree fever, which is pretty high. And my blood pressure is about 250 over 150, which I should have stroked out. I don't know why I didn't. I think that was his way of saying, I need your attention. And do I have your attention? Yes, sir. You have my attention. And the woman who was treating me was not only a medical doctor, but she was a nutritionist, which is such a rare combination in this day and age because most doctors do not receive, nutrition training at all. So she kept coming in and asking me, so what do you eat? What do you eat? I mean, I was in the hospital for a week. I mean, with bone chilling. I mean, I could not get warm. And then my teeth would be chattering. They had to put a mouth guard in my mouth because they thought I was going to chip my teeth. I was chattering. I couldn't stop. And then my fever would spike and then I'd soak the bed. I mean, just soak everything. And I was like this for a week. And they never did figure out what it was. I really don't care. But the woman who came to me, she was like an angel, to me. And after I got out of the hospital, then I saw her as a nutritionist and she started me on a book called Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. And that was it. I've spent over 10 years, but it's about 12 now, of learning about whole food plant-based living and the changes that it can make to you and the impact on your health. And oh my gosh, what a difference it's made in my life.
So I heard you cured your thyroid. How did you do that?
Well, after I got out of the hospital, I saw her as a nutritionist, and I started this journey. And then the movie Forks Over Knives came out, and that was it was so resonated with me and was so powerful. And then, so I started changing my life. I mean, I've lost over 100 pounds at this point. I've healed my thyroid. I've gotten off blood pressure. I was on 4 blood pressure medications plus thyroid medication. And I've learned so much about myself, about my body. And as I started to lose my weight, I started releasing toxins into my body. And there's 2 types of chemicals. I'm a chemistry teacher, so I can't help it. It comes out at times. Mm-hmm. So there's 2 types of chemicals that you have in your body. One is fat soluble, one is water soluble. So if something is water soluble, it's going to go through your liver, your kidneys, and then it's going to go out your body. Okay. But if it's fat soluble, guess where it's going? It's going into your fat cells. And so as I started to burn weight, burn fat, I was starting to release a lot of these toxins. And in the process of this, it really threw my thyroid off big time, because your thyroid controls everything in your body in terms of hormonal activity. It's just incredible. And we're starting to see a huge increase in thyroid problems, especially in places like, for example, where they add fluoride to the water. And this goes back to my chemistry training, because if you look at the periodic table, where fluoride is the most reactive element on the periodic table. It has the highest activation energy in the group of halogens, okay? In a single displacement chemical reaction, it can displace anything below it. And below fluoride is iodine, okay?
Mhm.
And iodine is one of the main sources to help run our thyroid. And so we're seeing a huge correlation in places that are adding fluoride to the water, just to and even if you go to the dentist, when he does like a fluoride treatment and sprays that foam into this tray, the last thing he or she says to you before they shove this tray into your mouth is, don't swallow this, because they know how toxic it is. But yet we're adding fluoride to our water, which we drink and internalize. So the dentist is only applying this topically, but we're drinking it and internalizing it. So that's one reason, okay? A lot of the other issues are the environmental toxins that we're being exposed to that are endocrine disruptors. And your thyroid is part of your endocrine system. So in helping to regulate all of these issues that are going on, or problems that are going on in your body. So if you lose your thyroid, you're going to have a lot of problems then down the road with your health. So as I started to lose weight, then what was happening was I started to release these toxins out of my body, and it totally threw my thyroid off. So the first thing the doctor, I do blood work, pretty much on a quarterly basis. And so the doctor was like, your thyroid's starting to go. So let's watch this and see. And it started to get worse. So she wanted the blood work done. I think we did, instead of quarterly, we did it again in a couple of weeks. And it was getting worse, and it was getting worse. So immediately the prescription pad is whipped out, and I was put on, a drug, levothyroxine. And once, she hands me this prescription, and she circles 4 refills on the bottom. And I'm like, doc, how long am I supposed to be on this drug? Because I'm not a drug person. I don't like taking drugs. I don't like what they do, the side effects and the impact that it's going to have on my health. Because we're really not supposed to be on medications long term. We're not. Our body's not designed for it, and they're going to cause other issues. And she looked me straight in the eye and said, you're going to be on this for the rest of your life. I'm like, no. She's like, yeah. In my 25 plus years, I've never seen anybody heal their thyroid, ever. And I'm like, whoa, that is not good. That is not a good thing. So I was kind of disturbed by this. And then I immediately started researching, and, found out that through a plant-based diet that there is the possibility that you can heal your thyroid. And I started connecting, and Dr. Neil Barnard, he wrote a book called Your Body in Balance. And in this book, I was actually one of the case studies, because he had me go back and get all of my medical records, like a sedimentary layer of medical records. And I started going through, and we kind of pieced together in the interim that we think that as I started to lose weight, and I started releasing a lot of these toxins that are stored in your body, that it completely started to make my thyroid shut down. And so as I started to lose and get a lot of these toxins out, then I was able to heal my thyroid. And, once I got the toxins out, then my thyroid was able to heal itself. And then I was able to get off the medications, which I was told I was going to be on for the rest of my life. And my doctor, when she finally, my blood work was starting to come back, and my thyroid was, she's like, oh my God, I have to take you off this medication. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, your thyroid is healed. And I'm like, really? Is that right? You mean the thyroid that you said would not heal itself? That thyroid? That one? She's like, yeah, I've never seen this. So, she has since learned a lot about, nutrition in plant-based herself. So it was a huge awakening for her and for myself as well. So it's not just about the foods, because that's part of it, okay? But you have to get rid of the environmental toxins that you're being exposed to, like laundry detergent, anything that you put on your skin, like hand lotion, toothpaste, shampoo, anything that you put on your body, it literally in 26 seconds, it's in your bloodstream. It goes through the skin that quickly. So, I started, and I have been doing research on that for a long time. So that was a big piece for me as well, to help other people to understand that these toxins are in our personal care products. Because I grew up thinking that if it's on the shelf, it must be okay to have, because somebody along the way said this is okay for us to use. No, there is zero regulation on this, okay? So this is a big issue. So I'm very passionate about that, and I call it I call it the trifecta approach, where, you have to change what goes in, so that's food and drink. You have to change what goes on, so that's the personal care products and the environmental toxins you're being exposed to, and then you have to exercise. That's what I call like the foundation. I mean, there's a lot more to your health than that, but you have to have those three pieces to have a solid foundation. Then you can build on that.
So actually, first time, when did you know you have thyroid issues?
Well, it's done through blood work. So it's a simple blood test, to measure your THS, and no, it's TSH. Sorry.
TSH.
It's a simple blood work test to do the TSH in your blood. So measuring that will tell you right away whether your thyroid is functioning normally or not. And they have other subtests that you can do as well. But just getting that will be a big piece right there to tell you if your thyroid is functioning normal or not. And so going plant-based, and I've seen others, I worked with a woman, Nancy Matthews. We called ourselves the Starch Queens for a long time, and helped people to lose weight, because, I have a weight loss program. I also have a pregnancy program to help women get their bodies ready for pregnancy. But we were working to help women to lose weight. And her thyroid was also having issues. And she and I, compared notes. She had been on medication for 10 years.
Okay.
And once she went plant-based, that helped. But once she got the toxins out of herself, out of her body, and started switching to products that were toxic free, that's when the healing started taking place. And, she was already exercising. So that was the last piece, was getting the toxins out of the personal care products. And that's what helped to heal, her body, my body as well. So.
But, medical science does not believe thyroid will cure or it will balance without medicine. What's your perspective?
It's true. I mean, and that's, my doctor looked at me straight in the eye and said, no, you're going to be on this for the rest of your life. You can't heal your thyroid, because they've not been exposed to the power of a plant-based diet and what it can do for you, without question. And I've seen myself, the power of it. I've seen it through others, that they've been able to heal their thyroid and get off their medications. And it's incredible. And not only, you can have issues, by the way, and have a normal TSH. You can have that, but still have issues with your thyroid. It could be expressed in you're tired, you're lethargic, your hair, you're starting to lose your hair and hair thinning. And, another example of a woman who's an RN, and she lives in Tennessee. She had a lot of the symptoms of thyroid problems, but her TSH was normal.
Okay.
But the doctor put her on medications anyway to help to deal with the symptoms that she was dealing with. And once she went plant-based, she was able to get off those medications right away. And, when I say right away, because you have to have blood work done and then, go back to the doctor. So, we're talking a couple of months here, as opposed to years being on it, for the rest of your life kind of thing. but I've seen a lot of people able to get off their medications, and but there's a lot to learn, you know, and you need to have someone who can guide you along this, because your doctor's not going to. They're going to give you the standard rote, you know, information that, hey, you can't heal this and you're going to be on the medication. Here's the prescription. Good luck. And that's what you're going to get, because they don't understand that. But you're starting to see, there's a fabulous book by Dr. Neil Barnard called Your Body in Balance. And it explains how your thyroid can heal, especially if you catch it right in the beginning. Like as soon as you start to get on the medications, then if you're switching to a plant-based diet, you know. But again, I've seen people who've been on medications for 10 years able to get off their medications and heal their thyroid. So, but there's some cases that you can't get off the medication, but you can significantly reduce the dosage required, okay, without question. So you may reduce the amount, you know, and who knows over time, because sometimes, you know, you've been doing things to your body for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. If you're like, you know, I'm 61 and, you know, I was able to heal myself after a lifetime of abuse. You know, I started this when I was, you know, in like 49, 50 years of age. And I have seen dramatic changes in myself, in my body. My husband's reversed multiple sclerosis, okay? It's huge. It's huge. And I've kept the weight off without dieting. Oh my God, I've been on every diet my whole life. And I've been able to heal my body and lose the weight and keep it off for the first time ever in my life. So, you know, it's so profound, and people think, oh my God, I can't do that. I can't give up X, Y, Z, you know, cheese, meat, dairy, whatever it is. Oh my gosh, with now the foods that are out there, it's easy to replicate. Like, for example, I love mac and cheese. Oh my gosh, it's one of my, it's one of my comfort foods and one of my go-tos. And now I have a recipe called mac and not cheese that tastes just as good, if not better, but it's not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt my body when I eat it and cause inflammation and pain and, you know, suffering. So right now I'm 61 years old. I'm right in the middle of a move. So I'm schlepping furniture, moving up and down, painting, and, you know, and my recovery is amazing. And I'm out biking, hiking, kayaking, and doing things that are fun. And I'm not in pain. I feel amazing. When you get your health back, there's nothing more profound, and you feel good. You wake up every day. I bounce out of bed. My energy levels are off the charts. Okay, off the charts. I get up early. I don't go to bed till late, and I sleep. As soon as I put my head down on the pillow, I'm out, and I sleep deep and profound. And I don't have any, you know, major health issues now. So I'm off the medical treadmill. I'm so grateful and so thankful that this woman came into my life to help me to change. So now that's all I want to do, is help others to do the same thing.
So now, how is your thyroid?
Perfect. My blood work keeps coming back perfect. Absolutely. And I do my blood work quarterly, because your blood work is kind of like your report card. It's a real life report card, not what you get like in school or, you know, college or whatever. This is a real life report card without question. And you're going to see the changes in yourself, in your body, and because the blood work is evidence right there. So I do my blood work quarterly, make sure everything is within the levels, and then I continue on. So I just want to make sure that nothing is, you know, especially because once you go plant-based, there's a couple of things you really need to focus on. One is inflammation, which, you know, in your body, number one. Number two is the B12 and vitamin D. So you want to make sure that you have those, because B12 is the one thing that you can't really get from a plant-based diet. It's made by bacteria. And that's one of the things that, oh, see, you know, that's why we have to eat animals. No, because the animals get the bacteria from eating plants, right? And now we've become very clean, and everything is processed and sanitized, which kills the bacteria, which makes the B12. So even the animals now have to be supplemented with B12 because they're not getting it, because they're not being fed grass anymore. They're in a shed their whole life eating man-made foods that cause them issues and problems, health problems as well. So they're not being grass-fed, they're not being, raised as they should have been in nature. So they're having issues, health issues too. So, you want to make sure B12 is a very, very important mission critical thing that you want to make sure that you're getting enough of. So usually once a week, I spray some vitamin B12 underneath. Got a sublingual dosage, and I spray it into my tongue whenever I walk by and I see it. Oh yeah, I'll spray some in my mouth. And and then vitamin D is another big one because I live in New England, and for 9 months of the year, you're not getting the amount of sun, that you need, like if you're in Florida or like living on the equator. So that's a whole nother thing, because vitamin D, you actually make, it's a hormone that you make in your body. So if you're getting enough sunlight, that's great. But a lot of times I don't. So, because I'm very fair skinned and I burn very easily, so I don't get a lot of sun. So anyway, but that's, there's a couple of things that I always make sure and check with my blood work, but there you are.
Miss Jeanne, do you have any suggestion about the step to take to change habit of taking plant-based diet?
Well, whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free. One of the things that as you start this journey, you are going, I call it peeling back layers of an onion. Like an onion has all these layers underneath. And as I started to learn about myself, about my body, I realized I was absolutely ridiculously salt sensitive. So it makes it virtually impossible for me to eat out anymore, because in restaurants are not there to promote your health, okay? They are there to make money. They're to provide a service for you. They're going to use the lowest quality foods that they can. They're going to use a lot of oil, which I don't recommend at all, because that's going to clog your arteries and make your blood platelets so sticky that they stick together and stop the flow of your blood. It can reduce it a phenomenal amount. It takes 10 to 12 hours for your body to break that down and get it out of your system. And by then you've eaten something else with, more oil, in it. So it's constant, it causes inflammation. It causes a lot of health problems. So, it makes it virtually impossible unless you know the restaurant or know the chef that can prepare for you, and I've connected with restaurants, in my area, and they know me. I'm that person, hi, it's Jeanne. Oh yeah, no oil, no salt, no sugar. So they know for me, and they can adjust the recipes accordingly for me. So, when you can find that, that's great, but it makes it difficult for me to eat out, which is fine because I usually prepare, and I teach people how to change to this lifestyle, because there's a lot to learn, because basically you're chucking out everything you've learned along the way on how to cook, on how to prepare things. So everybody's a little bit different. Like, for example, Nancy, like the woman I mentioned before when we were the Starch Queens, she has no problem with salt, but she does have issues with caffeine. And she realized how difficult her body was dealing with when she was consuming caffeine. When she stopped it, it's like her body was another person, and for me, I have no problems with caffeine. I don't usually consume it, but if I did consume something with caffeine, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't keep me up, but salt, oh my gosh. So every body is a little bit different on how you react to things. Some people might have allergic reactions to nightshades or gluten. Gluten, I think, has become a huge issue because of the genetically modified, products that we've introduced into our life that should not be there. So, so it's a transition and a process to go through this. And now there's so many choices that you can use to help you transition. Like, oh my God, I can't give up cheese. Okay, there's plant-based cheeses now. I mean, it's a good transition food, but they're not going to be health choices either, because they're going to be high in oil and salt. Any kind of processed foods are going to be like that. Okay, that it's great to have a transition, and if that's a crutch that you need to help you transition, there's some of these fake meats out there now that are great as a transition to help you get through this. But again, they're not going to be your best healthy choice out there for your body, because they're going to be high in oil and salt. And a lot of times they add sugar as well to make it palatable. So salt, oil, sugar. There's a fabulous book out there called Salt, Fat, Sugar. And it's written by Michael Moss, who's a Pulitzer Prize winner. I mean, he did an expose on the food industry. And I compare it very much to the tobacco industry. Because like the tobacco industry, in the beginning, the smoke was so harsh on our throats, they started coating the tobacco with sugar to make it more palatable, so that we can hold the smoke into our lungs longer without going, kind of thing. And then if that wasn't bad enough, then they started adding more nicotine to the cigarettes to make them even more addictive to you. So, and it's just like what they're doing in the food industry. They're upping the amount of fat, sugar, and salt in the foods that we're eating to make them more hyper palatable, to stimulate what's called the pleasure trap. That you like potato chips. Can you eat one potato chip? Are you kidding me? I'll eat the whole bag, if it's in front of me. So, it's just learning how to avoid eating those kinds of processed foods, and making sure that your house becomes your wellness center, to make your home the best possible wellness center that it can be.
So you mean we need to eat home food, right?
Cooking at home is the best. I mean, obviously there's going to be some certain circumstances that you can't eat at home. So there's, and that's one of the things I teach you, is how to be able to ask for foods that it's not going to hurt you, to have them prepare it, because ultimately the restaurants want you back again as a continual customer. So if you continue to ask for this to be prepared this way, they're going to get the message, because you're going to be voting with your dollars, So it can be done. It can be done. But, and that's what I teach is how to be able to eat out successfully, and to make it so that it's not going to hurt you. So, but cooking at home is going to be the best, because you know the quality of the ingredients, you know everything that's going into the food that you're making, and it's incredible, once you start to put the right fuel, I call it fuel, once you start to put the fuel into your body starts to heal. And it's so amazing to see this, without question, and quickly too. I had one client who his cholesterol was 279, and he had his blood work done in 3 weeks. His cholesterol went down in 3 weeks to 99. Okay. I mean, it's incredible to see the changes when you go completely and you do it 100%, and that's one of the things people say, well, can't I just have a little bit of dairy? Can I have one cheat day a week? Okay. If you're going to have one cheat day a week, you're going to make sure that you understand that your body is going to be responding with some disease. Okay. Your body's going to respond that way. So if you're okay with that and having some health issues, okay, it's your body, you're driving the bus. So, but once you go plant-based and you go 100% and you go all in, the changes are profound in your body.
Actually, I have some friends. They have thyroid problem, and they are so depressed because they didn't want to take thyroid medicine, but their doctor insists to them, and they are taking thyroid medicine. It's been a long time. And do you think they can cure their thyroid without medicine?
Well, you can't just get off the medicine. I mean, you can't just okay, today I'm going to stop my medication, because that's wrong too. Okay. You have to do it slowly. You have to allow your body to heal. And, I would be remiss to say, oh yes, everybody can heal their thyroid, because not everybody can. But what you can do is most likely reduce the amount of medications, and perhaps eventually, because you've been doing this for a long time, hurting your body with the wrong foods. So if you give your body time to heal, just as the same amount of time as you've been hurting it, then there's a good chance that you can get off these medications. But you can't just say, today I'm stopping my medications, because your thyroid does need that. And if you're not producing it, if you're, what you need, then you need to have a medication. But your blood work is going to show. And actually, Dr. Lori Marbris talked about this, because she had issues with her thyroid, and she's not been able to completely heal her thyroid. She's on a the smallest dose that you could possibly imagine. She cuts that in half, and that meets her needs right now. She, of course, measures her blood work she's very concerned about that, and she makes sure her thyroid levels are good, and she's constantly adjusting her medications, and they're going down. So at one point she may be able to get off her medications, but her thyroid is functioning now, and so she doesn't need as much thyroid medication. So that's a possibility, is that you can definitely decrease the amount of thyroid, medication that you need. And there is a very good chance, even if you've been on, like Nancy was on medication for over 10 years. So you have to give your body a chance to heal. And this is not something that you can say, today I'm going to do this, but I've been good. I'm going to take a little cheat day. Because every time, let me give you an example. I've got a good punch. I'm a pretty strong woman, okay? I come up and I go, poof, and I hit you in the arm. Every day, if I come up and I hit you in the same place, every day, your arm is going to be enormous. It's going to be black and blue. It's going to be swollen. It's going to be inflamed. It's going to be painful. And eventually you're not going to be able to move your arm because it's going to hurt so much. But if I just stop hitting you, then your arm is going to heal. But if you go to the doctor's going to look at your arm and go, oh my gosh, let's give you some steroids for the inflammation. Let me give you something for the pain. But if I just stop hitting you, you won't need the steroids. You won't need the medication for the pain. You don't need that. Okay, so let's say you go plant-based and you get off, you're starting to heal your body. But then you're like, I've been good. I'm going to have a little cheat day. That's me coming up and going, poof, in your arm, okay? And if you do that, if I hit your arm again, it's going to turn black and blue. It's going to get inflamed, and it's going to hurt. Maybe not to the same level as it was if I was hitting it every day, but it's still going to hurt, and it's still going to take your body time to heal that. And that's the same thing that's happening inside of you every time you deviate. So like sometimes, like if I'm on the road and I don't have a choice, and there's nothing that, like, all the stuff is pre-made, like a sauce, or the food is cooked in oil or whatever, and I eat some of that, it will take my body about 3 days to cleanse out the salt. My blood pressure will go up without question, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It will go up if I eat salt or oil. And it will take about 3 days for my body to clean it out, and get back to where it was from before. It could be a little bit longer depending upon what I ate, and how much, but your body definitely will respond back. So if you have these, I've been good, I'm going to have a little cheat and have some, whatever it is that you can't live without, and honestly, your taste buds change. And food that you thought taste good before, because if you'd ever said to me, I would voluntarily spit out a Dunkin' Donuts honey glazed donuts, because that was my absolute, I'd buy a box of those and I'd eat 3. I mean, without question. Don't get between me and the box, you'll get hurt. And I would eat them, and after being plant-based for, 3 or 4 years, somebody had left a box of these donuts in the teacher's lounge. And so I opened up the box, and first I looked this way, to see if anybody was around. Because if the other teachers saw me doing this, I would have, because they knew I changed my diet. It's like, oh, see, you're eating this stuff now, and I didn't want to hear it. So I looked around, nobody was there. I was like, okay. So, and there was one donut left. It was a honey glazed donut. And I'm like, all right. And I took a bite of it and I started chewing it, and I went, this is disgusting. This is so disgusting. And I'm like, did they change the formula? And I thought, I've changed, and I can't eat that anymore. I can't. It just tastes so bad to me. And meat smells bad to me now. And cooking of meat. And this was back, 5 or 6 years ago. I was still making my own dog food for my dog. And I would use a little bit of chicken. And I would make 6 months of food. And I'd use it mostly as a condiment. not, primarily my dog was vegan. The dog's vegan 100% now, without question. Amazing. She's 17 years old, sleeping on the couch over there, and she has excellent health. Anyway, so back in the day, I still used a little bit of chicken, and I cooked it in a crock pot, and it smelled so bad cooking to me that I usually would plug it in outside and let it cook. And it was like 17 degrees out in wintertime. And I'm like, yeah, no, that chicken's not going to cook outside. So I put it in the garage and plugged it in, and I didn't tell my husband. And my husband went out to take like the trash out to the, recycling out to the garage or whatever. And he goes, oh my God, I think the septic backed up into the garage. It smells so bad out here. And I'm like, no, I'm just cooking chicken. That's how bad it smells to us now. So your taste buds do change. Your sense of smell does change. It smells really bad to me. And I grew up eating meat. I grew up eating bacon. If you'd ever said I'd voluntarily give up bacon, I'd be like, you're insane. My son and I would have literally a knockdown, drag out fight for the last piece of bacon. And we would eat, go crazy. And now I can't even stand the smell of it, and never mind eating it. It's like, no, I'm good. But it almost nauseates me to smell bacon now. So your taste buds change, your body changes, and everything that you think that you loved before is like, yeah, no.
Your thought will be changed. So what kind of exercise and what kind of plant-based food can eat thyroid patient?
Well, just getting and transitioning and getting the animal products out of your life and out of your diet. That's step one. Just eating lots of dark leafy greens. Those are going to be the ones, the foods that are going to really, really help to heal your body. And so like every day I start with a smoothie that contains about 10 to 12 ounces of dark leafy greens, raw dark leafy greens. So that's in my smoothie that I drink every day. You could not eat that many greens, in a salad. I mean, that's like 2 of these boxes, I buy, they come in a box container, the leafy greens. That's like 2 boxes of those things that goes into my drink in the morning. So, that's a huge part of it, getting dark leafy greens into your diet. The enzymes are going to help to really, really help and heal your body. And in the beginning, you have to heal your gut biome, because most times the problems stem from your gut and being able to absorb food. A lot of people have problems with digestion, either constipation or irritable bowel syndrome, or just chronic digestive problems, or I'm allergic to this, I can't have that, or whatever. In the beginning, you have to heal your gut biome, and that's consuming a lot of fiber, which is what animal products don't have. So that's one of the big things, is to really start to get the dark leafy greens into your life, and to get a lot of those nutrients, a lot of antioxidants like blueberries. Berries are amazing, but you definitely want to make sure that is at least one food that you are eating that is organic, okay? Exercise is, do something that you love. If you can't move right now, then, a walk out to the mailbox today and back, then tomorrow, try it twice, So if you're somebody who's really exercise challenged, just get out and walk. Just do something, move. You have to get up. Our bodies were designed to move, to actively move. So it's not like you have to go to the gym and spend 2 hours every day. Find something you love to do. I love to garden. And I just bought a beautiful home on Cape Cod that has exquisite gardens. And eventually, not this year, but I'm going to start doing gardens in the back to grow my own food as well. And I've got a lot of hydroponics that I do as well, that, and sprouts. I sprout my own, and so it's a process and learning. So gardening is one of my big hobbies that I love to get out. It keeps me, it moves me. I've got a huge piece of property that I'm constantly walking back and forth. On average, I average like between 10 to 15,000 steps a day, So if you can get one of those little, something that can measure how many steps you do, try and do a few more steps each day, So, but it doesn't have to be something like, I have to go to the gym every day. No, you like to bike? Okay, get on your bicycle, ride a half a mile more today than you did yesterday. I love to kayak. I can't wait to get in my kayak again and, and get out there on the water. I just bought roller skates. I skated a lot as kids, and I have these fabulous roller skates that just clip on to whatever shoes you're wearing. And they've got a one wheel in the front and two wheels in the back. And it's like, this is awesome. I love this. I can't wait to get back into roller skating again. So it doesn't have to be something, or dancing in the dark. Me and Bruce Springsteen, we like to go dancing in the dark. I just, shut the lights off. I crank up the music, and Bruce and I are downstairs. We're just, jamming, and it could be something like that. I just love to crank up. We have big speakers. My husband has a big stereo set, and I love cranking up the speaker. And he's not there. I crank it up, and me and Bruce, we're dancing. And I love that. Just so it doesn't have to be something like, oh my God, I have to have this routine. I have to go to a gym. No, find something you love and just do it.
Have any suggestion for those people who are suffering from thyroid-related problem?
Know that there is the possibility that you can heal it, and know that your blood work is going to be the key to looking at that, but the diet and lifestyle are mission critical. So if you really want to get off your medications, there's a very good possibility. I mean, I'd be remiss to say everybody can get off your medications. You may have hurt your body for so long that it can't respond. But what it can do by going plant-based is either reduce the amount of medications. But if you continue it long enough, perhaps there's the possibility that you can heal your body and get off your medications. So going plant-based is without question, and getting the toxins out, and learning about the products and the personal care products that you're exposing yourself to. Laundry detergent. Oh my God. I went down, as in the grocery store, a regular grocery store, and I had to go get some sponges because I'm moving in and I'm cleaning and stuff like that. So I needed some sponges and, a mop and whatnot. And I'm walking down this aisle, and the smell was so overwhelming to me of the chemicals, because that fragrance that you're smelling is pure chemicals. And a lot of them contain chemicals like phthalates. Phthalates are massive endocrine disruptors, and they're in anything with fragrances. So you want to make sure, if one thing that you can do is get fragrance free. That's that's an easy step. And again, these things are easy to do, but it's overwhelming in the beginning because there's a lot to learn. There is a lot to learn, because you're chucking out everything that you've done that you thought was right, that you were learned, that your mother didn't know any better. She did what she thought was the best in raising you. And my mother raised us. We had 5 kids. We didn't have a lot of money, so we grew our own food in the garden. And we basically just had milk and juice and water in the refrigerator. There was no processed foods. Everything was cooked, home cooked meals. So in the beginning, it wasn't as bad a diet as I could have had, but there were still some things that if my mother knew, that would have helped us along the way. So,
by the way, what kind of chemical do we use for day-to-day life?
and it's interesting because I had been looking for a company for a long time that was toxic free. And as a matter of fact, I would make my students, when I was teaching chemistry, I would make my students in the winter term, instead of doing a chemistry exam, I'd give them a choice. You can either do a chemistry exam or you can do this project. And they're like, yeah, no, bring on the project. I'll do whatever it is to avoid a chemistry exam. And I get that, chemistry is a little complex and it's a lot to learn. So I chose this project and had them do a chemical analysis of 3 personal care products that they were currently using. And there's a great site, it's called the Environmental Working Group, that has what's called the cosmetic database. But even before this, I had textbooks that talked about these chemicals and the issues and the problems. So I had all these resources in my classroom for the kids to use to be able to learn about these chemicals that they were being exposed to. And for them, it was like a huge eye-opening experience that they learned that the products that they were using were very toxic. Like most shampoos contain neurotoxins. Something that's going to be toxic to your brain, you're putting that in shampoo that you put on your head. Really? You know, shampoos like for baby shampoos, we're putting formaldehyde in that up until not too long ago. So they can put anything they want into these chemicals, you know, they can put in what they want, and they do. And it's so sad on so many levels because you don't realize you're being exposed to this until you start to learn about it. Once the curtains are pulled apart, you know, from you, it's like you can't go back. So the Environmental Working Group has a great app that you can download. It's called Healthy Living. It's free. I like free. And before you buy a product, they can scan the barcode and then see if it's in their database. I think they have like 70 or 80,000 products. But here's the thing, they keep changing them. So that's, oh, it's a new formula. This is an old formula, you know. So they keep changing that to hide things. And they hide a lot of chemicals in the word fragrance. So because, oh no, I don't want my competitors to know what's in my personal care products. And it's like, stop it. I can give that to an analytical chemist, and in 10 minutes, they can tell me exactly what's in that product. So please stop it. But what they do is they hide chemicals like phthalates, which massive endocrine disruptor, especially if you're trying to get pregnant or heal things like your thyroid. You need to get these chemicals out of your life. So that's one place that you can start to look, you know, for products. But I found a company that was actually started by a girl who was 15 years old. And she had read the Environmental Working Group. They did a body burden test on teenagers and found out that these toxins were having such a huge, on average, they did a body burden test and they found 289 chemicals from personal care products in their body on average. And if you're using makeup and stuff like that, that adds several hundred more, okay? So she was horrified by this. So at the age of 15, she started this company. And to make a long story short, she ended up selling the company and then starting Plant City in Providence, Rhode Island. And I go and teach there on like a monthly basis. I try and get down there and I do cooking classes, I do lectures and things like that. And, you know, so this whole company, it's called Pure Haven. And if anybody's interested, they can message me and I can, you know, share a link with you on how to buy it. You can buy them online. But it's learning about these products, and they meet my standards as a chemistry teacher, that they are not toxic. And everything's made here in the United States. The factory is certified USDA organic. So that took a long time to get that certification because it's difficult. It's very expensive. We have to undergo rigorous testing and stuff like that. But the products are amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. My husband was dealing with chronic dandruff. Like he would go to dermatologist after dermatologist, and they would prescribe these very, very toxic shampoos. And I'm like, you can't use this, especially because he has MS or had MS. He doesn't have it anymore. I'm like, you can't be using that. He's like, but that's what the doctor said. And I'm like, yeah, well, they don't know. They don't know how toxic this is. Or then he would go and buy, you know, dandruff shampoos, and he'd sneak those into the house. And I'm like, no, you can't use these. They're so toxic to you. But his shoulders would be constantly covered with a layer of dandruff. It looked like somebody took confectionery sugar and sprinkled it all over his clothes. And he started to use, the company came out with a product called Super Greens shampoo. And he started to use that. He scrubbed his head with a sugar scrub that they have and got rid of the dead skin. And then used the Super Greens shampoo, the the shampoo, the conditioner, and then the scalp treatment. And in one shot, one application, his dandruff went away. And now he doesn't have it anymore. It's like unbelievable. And I've got story after story of people who switched to these products that their hair is thicker. It's just incredible. I mean, their skin looks amazing. The products are incredible. They have cleaning products. They have personal care, shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste. They have essential oils. They have pet products, kid products. Oh my God, the boo-boo stick. I literally carry, I must have at least 12 boo-boo sticks around at any given time. I carry it in my purse, in my car, you know, in my nightstand. It's in the bathroom, everywhere. Because anytime you get a cut, scrape, burn, You know, a sunburn. Oh my God, he put it on and it heals immediately. Like you feel the relief of pain and inflammation. It's just incredible. People with arthritis, it helps that. I mean, products are amazing. So if anybody's interested in learning more about them, just message me. You can find me always at over here, simplyplantbased.net. You can message me through that.
So, Miss Jeanne, we are almost end of the show. Do you want to share anything to our audience?
Well, it's a lot to learn and a lot to change, but oh my God, when you do change this and you get your health back, it's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. And to wake up and feel great every day and not have issues, it's powerful. So it can be done. I want to give hope to people out there that you can change your health destiny and get off what I call the medical treadmill, because that's expensive and it's not going to help you in the long run. You're just going to be kept on. You're going to be going from doctor appointment to doctor appointment to doctor appointment. Just do it. Just do it. Going plant-based, getting the toxins out of your life. Every step that you can make will help you to heal your body. You know, one of the biggest things that you can do right away is just get rid of the dairy. Go through your refrigerator, clean out all the dairy. If you're like, I can't give up meat, okay, fine. But at least get the dairy out, because the dairy is going to cause so many health issues to you. So please, just if there's one thing that you can do, get that out. Okay, the cheese, the yogurt, the milk, the dairy products, and they're hidden everywhere. So, you know, getting that out of your diet, your life, that's going to be a huge, huge step. So,
Miss Jeanne, thank you very much for being us. It was really wonderful conversation.
well, thank you for the opportunity to share my story and to give hope, because that's what we, you know, sometimes we just get so defeated and the doctors are telling us, no, you can't heal. No, you can't do this. It'll never happen. But to have hope, to give that hope to someone means that's all I want to do for the rest of my life, you know? So we do have, I have several programs to help people. One is weight loss, focuses on that. Another one is to work with me one-on-one. And another one is the pregnancy advantage. And we actually have a fertility summit coming up. And eventually, once we launch the summit, it'll be on our website, thepregnancyadvantage.net. So we want to help women to get their bodies pregnant ready. They don't call it labor for nothing. So we want to help the next generation. And to do that, we have to help the mothers to get their bodies ready so that they can have the healthiest possible pregnancy, so that they can have the healthiest baby. Especially if there's a lot of women dealing with infertility. So we want to help that too as well. So
thank you very much for watching the Mahalaxmi Show. Stay healthy and happy. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe our channel. Namaste.